us ahead of 1 o'clock. Hi to here. Just as everybody's starting to join us, I'm curious about your original origins. Whereabouts are you from?
I was born in Pakistan, and then I joined the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. That was my first job with the Department of Defense.
Yeah, selfish in asking the question because funny though it might be, albeit I'm a Scot, I have a great passion for that game. I believe is very popular in Pakistan called cricket.
Yes, right now there's a World Cup going on. But I spent a lot of time, with the U.S. And in Canada. I've been here for 33 years, so my life is spent in Canada and USA, basically.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So it's been almost over 50 years. So that's why I'm always, So let me get.
I'm very excited to hear what you've got to say, and I think it's just gone 1 o'clock. I'm trying to keep us on time and on track as ever. Just wanted to welcome everyone to this virtual trade mission, ultimately perhaps to Ontario, Canada, and to assist in the buy-in to this wonderful message we have today Tahir, who is one of those proverbial CIPSs, Certified International Property Specialist, and he has kindly agreed to speak to us today about the buying and selling process in Canada. A little bit of backdrop with regards to Tahir's career to date. Originally from Pakistan, but spent most of his working life here stateside and ultimately in Canada. He does have a passion for that little sport here known as cricket, and we certainly have some commonality there. I'm not sure if we have it with other members of our audience, but I am very excited to hear what Tahir's got to say. You'll also notice from his visual, he does a wonderful, wonderful online service, which I'm sure he'll say a few words about today. Strongly encourage you all to sign up for it. Not only does this help Tahir, gives you a little bit of self-publicity as well. And often we hear, well, what can the local chapter do is for on a global footing? I think his Coffee Talk shop is a wonderful platform. Encourage you guys to sign up, and the various links will be shared as we go through Tahir's presentation. So without any further ado, Tahir, can I hand it over to you to give us an insight to all things Canadian from a real estate perspective?
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate that. I am very honored to have the opportunity to help you introduce the buying and selling process in real estate in Ontario, particularly in Canada. So we'll give you a little bit of perspective. I am a CIPS, and also I'm a fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada. I became a member of a regulator. It's called Real Estate Council of Ontario, as a member of Discipline and Appeals Committee. So I have to resign all the organized real estate directorship because to avoid any conflicts. So that's, and I kind of complete all the circles. So I'm going to share my screen and I will do the presentation. And if you have any questions, we'll talk about it. We have in two stages. One is to introduce you about the process, how the regulator and the organized real estate functions in Canada, particularly in Ontario, and then also type resale versus construction, new construction, and what steps that we take to go into new construction, and then all CIPS should know about it, about when dealing with projects or subdivision, thing like that. So I'm going to share my screen, and please put on the mute. And also, please leave your picture there if you are not going to be live, therefore, because it's going to be recorded and be shared on social media. So any one of you who has not showing a picture, please put a picture or keep it visual. It's because it will be put on a YouTube channel and shared across Canada. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm putting the sound. So first of all, welcome. This is a special presentation for Charleston Trident Association of Realtors. Thank you for the opportunity. So foreign buying process in Ontario, that's the topic that we have to make sure that you all are familiar with the process. Before we talk about business, global is a local. That's the motto, the power of connectivity that I created through this real estate network. I did a presentation for Florida North Association, and when we talk about global, is a local market because we are CIPS, we are connected with each other. So we have a local market, each one have a jurisdiction. For example, I'm in Ontario, you are in Charleston, that's a local market. The regional is state by state, province. So we are always connecting with each other. And then global market is where we are around the world helping and making a referral to each other. And it's very, very important that we have a strong support system when we reach into a global economy and trying to make a referral. We have a jurisdiction issue. We can only deal in our jurisdiction where we are licensed. Therefore, we have to rely on our fellow CIPS who becomes our referral partner. So that's why it's very important to have a support system and networking opportunities. I have a monthly global real estate professional network. Every month, I have done 32 global connectivity conference for CIPS, and it's available. All the recording is available on my YouTube channel. I will share with you later on. So the power is in your hand because you're a CIPS. So when we talk about Canada, we have 10 provinces and we have 3 territories, and each one has its own jurisdiction, and we have to have a license for each province in order to practice. That's why we make a referral to each other and make sure we're not losing any business. So we make a refer people. Because I'm also a fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada, so we have offices across Canada. So I have a CIPS Global, I have a REIC later, which I'm also planning to make some arrangement that you guys can get to meet them if you plan to come in your trip. Then we have Ontario. Ontario, even though I am covered in the entire Ontario, still there are areas that I will make refer to other people. So this is the province of Ontario. My license is good across Ontario. So this is the Ontario area. So we're going to talk about this process, what we do. So real estate in Canada is divided into, you have to have a regulator because for consumer protection agencies. So we have a regulator that control real estate across Canada in each province. Then we have organized real estate. These are a Canadian Real Estate Association that has an MLS system, and everybody is member of that who wants to subscribe to local board. So we have a Canadian Real Estate Association is organized real estate, but we get the license from regulator. And then we have OREA, Ontario Real Estate Association, that used to give education and now I'm lobbying to the local legislation in Ontario for the licensing and practicing, and also working with the government of Ontario about the consumer protection laws that governs our business in Ontario. So then we have a real estate board that has initiation of MLS system, membership services. All those are provided by the real estate boards. And then obviously brokerage and registrant, they are registered through regulator, but registrants are the realtors who are member of these brokerage. So you have a regulator in each province. We have organized real estate. We have a federal, provincial, and local boards, and also the brokerage and also registrant. So what are the participants? We're talking about 2 types. We have a pre-construction, and we're going to go back to the topic pre-construction, where everybody get excited about new construction and new homes, condos, subdivision, thing like that. But they need to be registered and licensed. So HCRA, Housing Construction Regulatory Authority, is the one that give licenses as a vendor and also as a builder. Since February 1st, 2001, nobody can build a house in Ontario unless they are given a license by HCRA. Trident used to be a body that provide license for the builder and also for the vendor. Vendor means they can build and sell or pre-sell, but they change it now separately. HCRA is separate. They only focus on registration process and compliance. Trident, you have to enroll the house if you are a builder. Then we have, so this is a new construction. Then we're talking about resale home, which we normally do. 80% of our business is resale. And then you have a for sale by the owner transactions. And then we have for sale resale, we have a brokerage, we are registrar realtors, and we have a client. So that's a process for resale and also pre-construction. So we're going to continue to. So Real Estate Council of Ontario is a regulator. You may have similar regulator in your states. So their mandate is education. They define all the prerequisite for registration for a new person who wants to choose as a real estate profession. They also, when the educations are met, currently Humber College is designated as a school to provide education. Then they will be registered to RICO to obtain the license. They enter into an agreement with a brokerage in order to get their license. And then compliance. So RICO will design the education, registration, and compliance to make sure once they have gotten the license, they are filing the code of ethics and regulation that govern their business, and also consumer protection program. These are 4 mandate from the Ontario government to the regulator, and to protect consumer program, which is insurance, their trust deposit. In Ontario, anytime transaction takes place, the listing agent, a brokerage will assume deposit from a buyer. That money goes to under Section 27 of the Real Estate Business Broker Act, deposit into a trust account. Nobody can touch it, and only with you can take out the money whether the transaction is completed or there's a mutual release or court order. So the Real Estate Council of Ontario will always monitor and inspect the real estate brokerage to make sure everybody is compliant, and they have to designate a broker of record as a complying officer to make sure real estate is regulated and monitored and in compliance to the Real Estate and Business Broker Act. This act is being changed to TRESA, Trust in Real Estate Services Act, on December 1. There are some changes happening here. I already have a video program on my YouTube channel. What are the changes? They are eliminating customer service. They're creating a designation program, so everybody is not in a multiple representation. So there are lots of interesting things that somebody is interested, I can explain that. So Housing Construction Regulatory Authority, that means this is the authority that give the license to the vendors and the builders. And builder registration is required now. And also vendor, if they want to build and sell, they need to register as a vendor. If they just want to build, then only builder can build a house. So if he's a homeowner, a landowner that owns the land for personal use, they can hire a licensed builder to build a house. They don't need to require enrollment for Trident program, because under Trident program, they have to register. They provide warranty for 7 years. I am a licensed builder in Ontario through another company. So then obviously consumer protection program, they have buy the property, talking about, because they are buying the property based on concept, illustration, drawings. They are not physically seeing the house. That's why the regulator is very strict about it. And builder, prior to start construction, they have to enroll every unit with a Trident to provide warranty, and the Trident will take security for each unit that is built by the licensed builder. And obviously warranty for 7 years. They give you full warranty for 12 months, and then it goes to water leakage for 2 years and 7 years structural warranty. So this just to give you a little idea when you're dealing with new construction, let's say condo buildings, and there is a restriction in terms of deposit, up to $40,000 for the condo unit and up to $100,000 for a house, not to exceed 100,000. It's about 10% of the value, but not to exceed 100,000. That's a protection available from the Ontario government for buying a new home. So this is very important. I thought I'd share with you that as a global real estate professional, this is a designation that I have created, that all of us who are involved with residential or commercial dealing locally or internationally, we should familiarize with this. It's not just about resale, is you have to understand how everything works. So first of all, they must understand the city official plan. What is the city official plan? That designate the land in your city that you have to develop. If you don't follow the plan, you have to ask for amendment to the official plan to allow a development. And then we got zoning bylaws, which where you have to comply with each city where you are building a residential or commercial zoning bylaw. You must be familiar with your bylaws in your area. Similarly, I'm familiar with the bylaws of Ontario and also each city wherever I'm practicing. Also, it's very, very important when you are working with a residential or commercial to determine the really needs of a client when they come to you to build a house or a subdivision, and if they want to buy a land, to make sure you're checking the zone for the development purposes. Creating a budget is always very important. You can collect some information and you familiarize yourself. But if you have a land and you want to develop that and helping them, you have a team of people, professional architect, planner, engineer, who are working on development project. It's good to have a basic knowledge about that. I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel that you can see. I'm just going to run through it to make sure you have an idea. And when you are creating, and when you're buying and selling, you also need to create a budget for a buyer, foreign buyer or a local buyer. So they have understand there are additional costs over and above acquisition of a property. Site plan approval, when you are developing a project, you need to have a site plan approval from the city. There is a process that you have to go through. It's good idea for the realtors, particularly CIPS, to understand the process if they're working on a large project. I have lots of friends on my network. We are doing projects in a different part of the world. And I always remind them, give me this information, and they don't have any answer for that. So they're not familiar with that. So it's very important to educate ourselves about this. And also when you are working with you're trying to help someone to buy a land, and also you want to help them to build the project. So you have to kind of understand their needs and expectation, what they want to do, how long they want to do, how much. So these are the things that you have to understand about that in the process, and create that network of professionals, because we are real estate professionals. We have expectation from our consumer to help them, guide them, but we have to follow regulation in Ontario. Section 8 of our Code of Ethics restrict us not to talk about legal issues or other things because they're not our competency. So therefore, we make a refer to architect, planner, engineer, appraisal, so they can provide guidance. So we can be conduit to help them understand. In the meantime, we also learn and create network. Acquisition of land is very common. I'm doing lots of projects where people are using my expertise because I'm also a licensed builder. I have a qualification for that. So this helped me. I created more avenue of creating revenue for me, not only just resale or the new construction, also helping a client to have financial resources to develop the project, to connect with architect, planner, city people, so they can develop and make more money. So I will be able to help them to sell the property. Dealing with the planner and architect, this is very important. The planner works with the city planning department to design the entire city, and where will be commercial, where will be community center, where will be residential properties, multiple properties. So, and also you have to understand they have to have a building permit in order to do a project. So it's very, very important. Just to touching base this topic is a very comprehensive. I have one of the education program that I give training and teaching. So this is just to give you a slide to have understanding that you have to have a building permit in order to complete. Lots of agents don't understand that if they have never done pre-construction, new construction, or land development. So this is very important. Obviously, construction, when it's completed according to the design, and they have to have inspection, they have to have occupancy, so they can go there. So just some touching base so you have understanding of that. And if you are not familiar with too much, you can go to YouTube channel. I have a special training program to guide them on this case. So I thought I'd share with you some slide. Now, when we talk about real estate, Canadian Real Estate Association, we have approximately 160,000 members across Canada. And I'm a fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada. We have, I think, less than 500 across Canada who are fellows. At Ontario Real Estate Association, where I'm located, we have 96,000. And I think there are more now. I'm just be conservative, not to overstate. And I'm a member of Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. We have 75,000 members. And there are 38 boards, Ontario Real Estate boards. They are regulating regular membership in Ontario. So I am a member of, this is a chart of a Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. These are jurisdiction of Toronto Regional Real Estate Board where we provide the service in Ontario. So I will share the slide. If anybody needs PDF copy, I'd be more than happy to share with Mike and he can pass it on to you guys. So there are some Trident projects that I'm planning to introduce to you guys if you decide to come, and I'll share with you. So these are territory jurisdiction of Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. We also have the capacity, being a member of Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, I can list your listing to sell on our system worldwide, because this is a world's largest MLS system that we have. So this is where we talk about necessary steps to achieve success, foreign buying tips. When we are buying and selling real estate, is very, very important to prepare buyer checklist. This is very important. Buyer checklist is people to educate a foreign buyers. For example, how much are the taxes? What is the land transfer tax? Who deals with the real estate? A lawyer do the transaction here, or appraiser is required. Your clauses, environmental, septic tank, environmental issues. So buyer will need to know is that, for example, if in buying in Toronto a property, Toronto has a special jurisdiction. They charge double land transfer tax, whereas everywhere else is only one land transfer tax. So closing cost is approximately 2% of the total value of the purchase order, agreement of purchase and sale. So this is very important for everyone who is involved in real estate to create a template. Share with me if you have any listing that you want me to help you make a refer to you, because I have my own brokerage and I will share the information to educate them in Charleston, certain cities, how much are the taxes. So by preparing it, the buyer knows the annual property taxes are, lawyer's fees are approximate, closing costs, appraisal required, home inspection. These kind of information is added to the checklist, and how frequently, and you can also add some realistic, specific to a property, any information about the property. So share listing data sheet, that means you create a list of MLS has a data sheet which shows the legal description of the property, size, date of it was built, and all that information, room sizes, square footage, property taxes, blah, blah, blah. So those are the information is needed and shared with whether you buy in Canada or buy over there. And also we prepare, estimate of cost. I always create a closing cost statement for my client for an Excel sheet. So they not only know that the house cost, let's say $1 million, is going to cost them 20,000 closing costs. So, and identify those things. And also, when we are buying and selling property, we have to respect the local laws. So consent to advertise is required. When we are advertising or listing a property, or then we are able to get the consent through our listing representation. But if I have to advertise your property to help you get you a buyer from here, I need to have the seller and your consent to advertise and put through the network. So this is very, very important, because also now there was a problem and complaint about people advertising property that had been sold 10 times already. The original guy is still promoting himself or herself that I sold this property, and which is regulated, doesn't like that. So we created they created guidelines for consent for sold property, that you can get the consent after the property has been sold. So the buyer and seller give you consent for a specific period of time. After that, you remove it from all the social platforms. So it's no longer in the marketplace, because the client doesn't give you unlimited consent, particularly when the ownership has transferred, you're still advertising the property. That is not good. So ethically, we have to follow the code of ethics. And also advertising world's largest multiple listing that we have here that we use. So I can help you to advertise that. And also referral agreement. Every time you are referring someone, there is a compensation that each has to agree to it. And mostly, I have experienced lots of friends, they say, well, we charge 25% of the commission that is earned. So we give 25% of the commission if somebody make a referral to me or I refer to you. And jurisdiction, this is very important, because a referral program will generate a compensation. So it creates also expectation on behalf of the client or consumer that person who's collecting some kind of fee, even though it's not in my jurisdiction. Let's say I make a referral to somebody there. So my client in Ontario, Canada, that is going to buy property in US, expect me to do due diligence to make sure that information that is collected is accurate. And then also, since you are CIPS partner and I am also CIPS your partner, therefore we are governed by the NOR CIPS Code of Ethics and Regulations. Therefore, we can easily refer to each other client, because we follow the ethics and regulation in our jurisdiction. So this is very important. But on top of that, to prepare your client before they get on a plane to go and visit you, they have this buyer checklist. So they expect what to expect during the visit by visiting a property. So that part of a due diligence that we have to do. For example, we need a lawyer here to complete transaction. The brokerage do not collect money for closing costs. It goes through to the lawyer. Mortgage is processed by the lender directly to the lawyer. And this is very important for all of you to understand. You may have a different process. You may also create something special for your client there. Important things to remember: foreign buying tips, estimating closing costs. This is very frequently complaints came to the regulator that the agent don't explain to them the closing costs, because buyer did not expect to have $15,000 to $20,000 closing costs available. So make sure that is there. Also, non-residents and foreign buyer pay speculation tax. In Ontario, there was a restriction by the federal government not to sell residential properties from January 23 to December 31st, 24. So 2 years, we can sell single detached home to the foreign buyers, except I'm going to talk about because the Federal Canadian Real Estate Association did a lobbying, and there were some exceptions. Now I'm going to show you in my next slide. So regardless of that, if you have a non-residence, they have to pay 25% as a foreign buyers speculation non-resident tax on top of the purchase price and top of the closing cost. Withholding money, when you have a foreigner who owns the property here, prior to this regulation and also after that, they need to get a clearance from the Canadian Canada Revenue Agency, and the lawyer will hold that money up because of capital gain there to make sure that they get a clearance certificate. So lawyer will hold the money. And also you require a consultation of professional accountant when you're buying and selling foreign deal. And we do it all the time. So we have a network. So it's recommended that you should have a few professional CPAs in your network. It's easy for you to consult with them. And also consultation with the lawyers is very important because sometimes the fee is high and they need to consult that. We always have a list of professional barristers and solicitors. They help you. It's a part of the, we can't do a transaction without a lawyer anyway. We are not able to close. It has to be done through a lawyer. And also, in foreign buyer can also arrange financing. I'm talking about general term because when we did the presentation for this, that time there was no restriction in terms of foreign buyers. So now we have restrictions, but they still can get the financing if they want to buy it, and they meet all the regulatory requirement. And again, buying is in real estate is not related to immigration. It is a separate process. Lots of people get that, oh, we buy property in Canada and we can get immigration. No. Similarly, in your jurisdiction, you have to check this out, see if their government has any program, because I always hear videos and social media and TVs. Some lawyers are telling us certain things you can do and so much investment, you can do certain things. So I think this will be a part of your presentation. If I have to send you a client, I need to know about your jurisdiction if I have to make a referral to you. So buying process, a real estate process here in Canada. For example, when you're buying, if you are buying anything in Canada, you have to have, in my opinion, a CIPS. So I am your global partner. I am a CIPS and you refer to me. So in this case, you have done a due diligence because you know me. I am a licensed. I have a valid CIP license, and I've been educating everybody for the last 3 years on our YouTube channel and also through our conferences. So we know each other. Similarly, if I have to send someone there, I have now 352 CIPS partner through my network. So when you make a referral to me, someone wants to buy a property, I will be searching and making an offer. That means I have to look at that, whether it qualify for certain residential or commercial, or what are the criteria, what are the selection criteria that I mandate I have given by my buyer that you refer to me. And before I do that, I will have a referral agreement with you, because this is how the process. And when I go through the due diligence process, follow our regulation here, and I make an offer on behalf of the buyer. We have to satisfy the mortgage, appraisal, inspection, environmental, all those conditions depends on the type of the transaction. Is it residential or commercial? So this is very important to have a familiarity about it. Then once we finalize and go through the due diligence and do our satisfy the fulfillment of conditions in the agreement of purchase and sale, whether it's a buyer, foreign buyer, or a local buyer, we send the APS, we call agreement of purchase and sale, to any relevant documents. If there are any appraisal report, structure report, environmental report, septic tank, or whatever report, home inspection report, we send it to the lawyer for transaction, because they are the one who's dealing it. we hold the trust deposit in our trust account until transaction is completed. So lender, if the mortgage is involved in foreign deal, lender will send money funds directly to the buyer's lawyer. Buyer could be local or a foreign buyer. It all depends. The lawyer will do the transfer deed and register mortgage charge. So they transfer the ownership after satisfying all the requirement from the buyer lawyer, and they will put a charge on the title to make sure the money they borrowed is on the title. And also all lawyers will secure a title insurance to avoid any mortgage fraud because of transformation of technology, accessibility. Not people are going to the office. Everything is digital now. Fraud can happen. Therefore, the lawyer will have to arrange a title insurance, regardless of whether it's foreign or local buyer, to protect the investment of the buyer, whether it's a foreign or local. So this is a kind of process that go through to acquiring a property. Now, this is where I wanted to mention to you about is prohibition on the purchase of residential by the non-Canadian Act. This is a federal legislation. They put restriction on selling single residentials to foreign buyers because in the pandemic, prior to pandemic, we were 45 to 55,000 shortage across Canada of residential units. Pandemic made it worse. Our price escalated about 18%, and then it came down a little bit, still there. And we have not lost anything. Transactions go down, but there was shortage of housing. Construction costs gone up 40-45% because of this pandemic period, to bringing back the entire economy into production on time, delivery, manufacturing, everything. So we have a shortage of housing. Therefore, they put the restriction not to sell anything to any foreign, non-foreign, or non-residents. So later on, the lobbying by the Real Estate Association, Canadian Real Estate Association, they got some exemption now. For that is a work permit. If we have a non-resident come here on a work permit and he's a non-Canadian, can buy it now. The only thing you remember, I mentioned last slide, there is a 25% non-resident speculation tax. That still applies, even though he or she has a work permit to work, because that's a non-speculation tax. I talked to the lawyer recently. I have a few clients, and I don't tell them not to buy until they get their permanent status. So they exact, because they need to have at least 25% down payment and 25% tax. So if you talk about $1 million, you're talking about, a lot of money, to pay for that. So nobody has that. Now, criteria for that is you have to have 183 days or more in Canada to fall into this exception. Now, big changes that happened was a land development, where land zone for residential and mixed use, including residential development, are allowed by 9 citizens because they want to grow the housing business. They want foreign investors to come and do businesses and expand because there's a shortage of housing. We have 3 levels of government: federal, provincial, and municipal. And buying process, getting a permit from the concept to the construction, it takes about 3 to 4 years. And that means we're always going to stay behind. So they like to have that participation from the non-residents. Now, they have limited control of the private corporation by 3%, and they have now changed it to 10%. And this requires a little bit more work when someone wants to invest in property and is specific to a need to have a consultation with a lawyer and accountant about this 30% private control of a foreign corporation. Depends whether they are creating a local corporation or they want to have a foreign corporation, and this will require a little bit of clarification. So the laws became effective 27 March 2023. The regulation was effected on 1st January 2023, and there was a huge reduction in sales in terms of foreign involvement. So there is a penalty of $10,000 for any real estate professional that violate this law. So that's why it's very, very sensitive and also requires a lot of attention to the detail when a referral is made to us to find out whether this person will qualify financially, legally, and what are the consequences in terms of acquisition, non-speculation tax of 25% plus disposition costs. So to make sure that it makes sense to make a decision now. Because this law is only for 2 years, I was talking to Trident, one of the largest builder that's part of our presentation for you, that he or she will explain you everything that they are thinking that this after 2 years, this law will be removed, but we don't know yet will it be canceled or not. But there are lots of future buyers because the development project takes 3 to 5 years. And therefore, this law will end of the next year. So that's why it's very, very important to talk about very specific things on investment. Just to give you a brief about our program, and then I go you later on to show these projects. This is a tentative guideline I created for you guys. So basically, I talked to Delta Hotel because Andrea mentioned to me that this is a walking distance to the Realtor Quest. Realtor Quest is happening on May 15 and 16 in Toronto. And you can just walk from the hotel to that place if they want to stay beyond that. So if this is correct that May 11th, you will be in Toronto tentatively. So this is a tentative program. So I plan to have is that we can have a breakfast in the hotel, and then we will have a presentation about the whole trip and all this. The Trident is the who has a big projects in Lakeshore project here in Mississauga and also Toronto. And Vincent Chan is a vice president. He's also CIPS, and he has a big profile. He will be doing a presentation in the hotel during our breakfast. Then we have a Sean F. Khan. He's a legal lawyer. He will explain any repercussions. We talk about the rebate program. If somebody who is a non-resident, he become a local resident, there is a rebate program under the non-speculation tax if somebody buys the property. And we have Humayun Chaudhry. He's a CPA, has a lot of credentials. He will talk about taxes. So this will be the day one if you decide to come and present it in the hotel. And then after that, we'll go to the Trident project, and they will go with the bus, and they will offer us a lunch there and provided by Trident, and we will go by bus. And then we plan to come back 4 o'clock. And if somebody else wants to go to, what they call it, CN Tower or other places, they have a time to go their own. The bus, I'm going to share with you the cost and everything that I arrange. Hotel, once you agree to go there, and I know a number of people, they will set up a portal. You will pay directly. All people will pay directly to the hotel, and then only thing I have to arrange is a bus, and I already have a proposal from them as well. Me and Dana or Andrea, whoever is available, we can deal directly. I prefer that is more transparent and accountable. So if you pay directly to the hotel for the room that if you plan to stay 3 nights, 4 nights, or you want to stay for the Realtor Quest, they can pay directly. There's no issue. Bus we can arrange, and it depends on the number of visitors will be coming. And Trident is the largest builder in Canada. So I choose them because they have big project in Toronto and as well as in and I'll share the screen about their project. And just to give you an idea, I will take you to the website. And then we also return 4 p.m. If somebody wants to do other activities, they can do that. And on second day, I plan to introduce you. Also, I'm thinking about introducing to all the visitors to our Real Estate Institute of Canada. I haven't spoken to them yet, but I'm thinking of maybe it's a good idea that since you are there to meet the Real Estate Institute of Canada. They've been they are the one who give me the Fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada designation, and we are working with IREM from USA. We are part of together. So if we have time, that I will be introduce you there. Otherwise, we will be focusing on the project. So I'm expecting maybe 2 hours of project presentation. Is a huge, and also tour of the buildings. This is very important. Now we return. Third day, I plan to invite you to go to bus will come and take you to Mississauga Real Estate Board, which is my organization where I am, because Mississauga Airport, Toronto Airport is in Mississauga. So we are kind of twin city. So I would like to introduce you to our board here. I was a director of that board for 3 years and chair of education committee, but since I became a member of discipline and appeal committee of regulator, I completed my term with them. So after that, we will go to Trident, and they will take us there. They will give us a lunch there, and we will tour actual project. And I will share the screen with you on the website about them. And obviously, after lunch, we will return back to the hotel. So goal is to return about 4 o'clock. So after that, if anyone wants to tour or visit their own, they can do that. Third day, we'll visit to Niagara Falls. We have so many choices there. I'm trying to talk to Niagara Realty Association, so you get to meet local realtor association if possible. I haven't not received a confirmation yet, but it's possible. Niagara Falls, we have a choices to go there and tour the city and also visit the Niagara Falls. You also have a casino. We have a choice of going to restaurant, or we can go to a casino. Casino there, they have a nice lunch there. And everybody can pay directly. You don't have to, because I'm not in a management business. I just trying to facilitate for you guys. So we can go to a lunch there. And after that, because it's about an hour and a 30-minute drive, therefore it's going to take a little bit longer to get here. So that's the kind of plan here. Idea is that we have two very large projects available to you to discuss and explore. And the completion dates are from 3 to 5 years from today. So therefore, hopefully we'll pass that time that we have. So I talked to Delta. I told them a Charleston Trident Association of Realtors are coming, and they gave me this. They're telling me it's about 199 Canadian. Remember that our dollar is 35% cheaper than the US dollars. So it's much cheaper. And this is about 4 nights, depending on, I don't know whether you're going to be here on 10th or you be here on 11th. So it's 4 nights. It's $199 Canadian plus HST. This is what taxes are always extra. And also breakfast meeting, they are charging $500 per day if we use the room. So only thing we needed for 1 day for presentation only. And that I was suggesting that we have a presentation and we have a breakfast and presentation together at one time. Therefore, we don't need that room again. But if we do it, they charge $500 per night. And also the breakfast, they're charging $30 per person or $34 for the full hard breakfast. So $30 Canadian. So that'd be about, I would say, $25 US or something like that. So this is per person that will be charged extra. So when they are booking, I can create a portal directly, and anyone who's coming can book them with breakfast. It will be booked in reference to Charleston Trident Association. And therefore, they will get that special pricing, because normally during the realtor quest, price goes up. And I'm trying to help to avoid that. So I will share this information with the board as we shared all these emails that came to me, and I'll share with you. In terms of transportation, there are, depending on number of people. So I have three different quotations. One is about 14 passengers. The one is 24 passenger. One is 56. It all depends how much. So it all applies to each one of you, which one we want to go. This is planned for the 11th. This is for the 12th. And we're going from one location to the other and coming back. So this will be, if you look at the bottom here, and it says, sorry, go back. Sorry, let me go back. So total is going to be a little bit different. So that's a per day. If you're talking about 14, it's going to be same, this price. If it's a mini with up to 24 passenger, this is the price plus HST. HST is 13%. And if we take a luxury big coach, 50 plus, then that's a per day for that period. And this is, I will share the information with you. So this is what I was able to arrange with them, and it all depends. So it's part of the building global partnership. This is what I've been promoting with everybody. And this is what I want to tell you is the Real Estate and Mortgage Learning Center I have created on YouTube is called Realty Coffee Talk. And Realty Coffee Talk, you can go to YouTube now. It used to be my name. I changed it to the Realty Coffee Talk. There are more than, I believe, 378 episodes. All this recording, which even we are doing today, it will be going there to that. So I will share this with you as a PDF copy, Mike, so you can share with the friends. And I spent a lot of time. I have engineering background. You know, I've been involved with the construction, and I am running my own brokerage for the last 18 years plus. I own real estate mortgage brokerage company, real estate brokerage company, and also I'm a licensed builder in Ontario. So I know all steps of this. Plus, I was involved with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers dealing with construction projects management. I cannot say more than that, where and all that. So this is an amazing opportunity for, and what I did is I created a realtycoffeetalk.com. If they go directly to realtycoffeetalk.com, all episodes from YouTube are on this one location. So they don't have to search it. Call realtycoffeetalk.com, and you can do that.
To learn more about real estate and mortgages, please visit Realty Coffee Talk.
And this is about me, my contact information. And I'm a broker of record for City Pro Realty. I'm an FRI, fellow Rose Canada, CIPS, certified real estate specialist. And these are the NAR designations. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to stop this. And then I will share with you the screen about other projects. So before I introduce you those projects, you feel free to ask questions you have any.
Rather, there is actually a chat box for those that are online. If you want to punch in some thoughts there, I would just like to take this opportunity to say, wow, Tahir, that was phenomenal, my friend. I mean, almost overloading information from the perspective of all things Canadian around anyone contemplating purchasing a property in your territory. I was just curious to get a little bit of a flavor for the scale of the market in certain respects. What are you seeing as the sort of percentage of transactions that are made by foreign nationals? And I ask that against the backdrop of some would say fairly draconian rules preventing people from purchasing, albeit there does seem to be a little bit of a softening going forward. Could you comment on that at all?
Yeah, Mike, the total, our estimate was the foreign buy was about 5%, not more than that, across Canada. It was just a panic or a negative impression that gave it to it. It was only 5%, not more than that. But the problem was issue of money laundering. Issue was money laundering. We have a law, it's called Proceed of Crimes and Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Act. And we all follow FinTrack. FinTrack is an agency that controls cash dealing. Lots of people are bringing cash without identifying it. And it has a lot more complication with that. So we have an obligation to identify a person. Anyone who give you cash, 10,000 or more, 1 cent more, we have to report them. It doesn't need to tell them where. Quietly, we have an obligation to report them. And also 10,000 could be 3 transactions, 3,000, 3,000, and 4,000. As long as they are within 30 days, you have to report them. And so there are a requirement for that. And that's whole thing was, there was a lot of problem. Lots of people were in trouble in British Columbia and there because a lot of foreign influence there. But in Ontario was much less, but still was there, but about 5%. But the problem in the mind of the people become more issue, and that really affected it. And there was some litigation and issues there. And it has a significant, our impact really happened because our interest rate went up during this pandemic. And that has really hurt our industry.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities there, both in the impact of interest rates and to that point about, you know, the movement of large sums of money and the concerns whether or not it's been done for legitimate purposes. So I think there's a certain commonality there. I think as a comparison, you know, if you're saying 5%, certainly here in Charleston, our market's even smaller from an international perspective. We're probably somewhere closer to 2%. But staying with the finance period, and again, folks, I would remind you, I've opened up the meeting chat. You should be able to find it at the bottom of your toolbar. If you would care to input questions there, I'm sure Tahir would be happy to answer them, hopefully on this call. So please do that if you would be kind enough. But on the question of finance, as a US citizen, and you were looking to secure for a mortgage, for instance, what are the sort of criteria that what needs to be verified? What are the challenges that somebody might find?
Just for your disclosure, I am a principal broker. I own a Canada Express mortgage. My license is 13421, and I can provide financing for anyone here. Criteria is simple. Source of funding needs to be verified. If it's employer, we have an employment letter, you have a tax return, you have a notice of assessment. In Canada, we have a CRA issue a notice of assessment. That means amount has been declared. If you're self-employed, you have to have a 35% down payment. If somebody is self-employed, 35% down payment. Source of income is a very key matter, especially in foreign transactions. So if you are an employee, verify if income is a commercial or self-employed, they provide evidence documents, legal documents. People are lots of falsify. There is a very special program, Mike, is called How to Avoid Mortgage Fraud on my YouTube channel. People love that because I've been teaching realtors. I'm an instructor at Misagaros, the board, and how to avoid mortgage fraud. I think I request all of you to watch that. It's really give you idea, red flags, what is possible, especially when you're dealing with foreign buyers, because it applies to all, but foreign is very special because you don't know the source. Our focus is always transaction, but it can come back to bite you if the regulator come back and audit your trade record. And that's why it's very important. Also, there are many things I can share, but there is important for each one of you, particularly broker of record or complying officer in the brokerage, have a checklist of your file that shows the day you introduce yourself to the client, you have signed a buyer representation agreement or seller representation agreement. Who are the listing agent, MLS, private, or any inspection, agreement of purchase and sale, terms and condition, kind of checklist where when you attach documents and you have complete file the day you did the trading, the day you submit a file to the lawyer, did the inspection and mortgage removal, all those documents are reflected in. And one auditor came to my brokerage. She learned a lot, and she said she loved to come here because I learned always something, right? So it was good practice. I was doing it. You know why? I worked for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers almost 50 years ago, and I learned certain things because first thing we learned in the Department of Defense was that gratuity. Anything more than $5 was not allowed. I'm talking about 74, 75, 76 area. So I follow that. If it's more than $5 lunch, you pay for your lunch, I pay for my lunch. So
I'm now getting my usual, Mikey, it's time to wind things up from Claire. Thank you as ever for keeping me right, Claire. But we do have one question that came in related to finance, and it came from Dana. She was asking, is cryptocurrency accepted in Canada for the purposes of real estate transactions?
No other currency except Canadian real estate, Canadian dollars. You have
Dana, is there a follow-up to that? And if you want, you can certainly unmute yourself.
Any transaction that takes place in Canadian dollars.
Okay.
So that means if you need to buy a property, you have to transfer funds. You can keep US dollars in Canada, but at the transaction point, you have to convert them to Canadian dollars.
So here we are out of time. It's been phenomenal today. I certainly will replay the recording. I think there was just a wealth of information provided, and I look forward to checking out your YouTube channel. And I'm hoping this, certainly from my perspective, is a start of a new awakening and a new relationship with yourself and all things associated with the maple leaf. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. We do have a project, but I think once you decide the process that you want to come, that if you want 1 minute, I can show you the website before we leave, or
I'll give you a minute, man. I'll give you a minute. You're on the clock. We have no issue with a minute.
Okay. This is where I want to show you the project. Just let me give you 1 second. This is. Okay. This for the. No, this was. I think maybe the file is closed now, but oh, here it is. See, this is the Trident. This Wonderful. Is a project. I just want you to show. This is the project that I want to introduce you guys. And they have 2 projects, opportunities, opening, and this is a Lakeview. This is a Mississauga project. They have a huge project. They're going to, and these are the project they're doing right now. So the Vincent Chan is the vice president of sales for 32 years. He will be doing the presentation. And this is a Toronto project. This is a big project there. And I'll send you the link for someone to go and see these project details. But again, the process is you need to appoint, you have to agree with a partner. So I'm your partner. So anytime you need anything, you can connect with me, and I'm more than happy to help you. And I will wait for your instruction, what you want to do in terms of summarize the trip. I prefer that everybody pay directly to the hotel, because if they want to attend this event and also want to go to the Realtor Quest, they don't need to deal with. The only thing I can arrange is a bus service where we can number of people choose the number. I will share those prices with Dana and Andrea, and about the proposal I got from them. Simple is number of people coming, who will be coming, and I can work, coordinate with you as a volunteer to help to make sure that you have a pleasant trip. And
well, I'm ever confident. I'm ever confident we can work through Claire, who does wonders in getting messages out not only to a local chapter but to our association, because I think this goes beyond just CIPS in the sense of what you're offering, and certainly from a development perspective, I would be interested to learn more about that initiative you just shared. So here, we're out of time, my friend. I thank you so much, and I look forward to continuing the conversation with you later.
Thank you very much. I'll share the information with Andrew. She already have my contact information. More than happy. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless Canada and USA. Take care. Bye.
Hey, works for me. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.